and the lights is popping. Everybody, give me a warm welcome for my second guest of the evening, Boss Chick Karana Halsey. What's popping? I love it. So let's start with the beginner days. What was your childhood like that brought you into this business realm that you're in today?
My parents were entrepreneurial. They had a production company. My dad was like Keenen Ivory Wayans before Keenen Ivory Wayans. So I've been doing like comedy and acting and theater since I was about 4. And I just saw them. Here I go in business.
How has Atlanta influenced you to create?
Wow, when I first moved to Atlanta in 2013, I hit the ground running. I'm a songwriter as well, and I started working with a lot of people. But yeah, I never released anything though. The music industry is very tough, but I got that sick pen for all you artists out there.
So, you were writing?
Yes, I was writing.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to do when I came to Atlanta, was be like a staff writer. I did it for a while.
So you came to Atlanta to write music?
I didn't come to write. I came because my mother got sick, but that was my focus. I did not want a job.
Okay.
I wanted to just do music.
Okay. And then you went into a whole different direction.
Somewhat. Well, I've been in real estate for many years. I'm a carpenter by trade, and so I've been investing in real estate since like '96.
Who did you draw from for inspiration?
I love Tina Marie. She is like my favorite artist. Songwriters, I like locally Crystal, Nicole, Diane Warren, some of the old heads.
Old heads, I love it. So detail the launch and vision behind your podcast, Blowing Bubbles Podcast.
Interesting story. So in 2017, my 21-year relationship ended when he passed away suddenly. And I was sad, and all I could do was blow bubbles. So blowing bubbles became a way for me to just not snap. And I turned it into a podcast.
I love it. So what do you mean? You just picked up some bubbles and just started?
Literally, my granddaughter had left some bubbles at my house one day. I was just having a hard day, and I saw them, and I went outside and started blowing bubbles, and it literally made me feel good. Like, oh, this works. 2022. Somebody asked, what do you do when you're stressed and overwhelmed? I said, I blow bubbles. And that's when I was starting to launch the podcast, and here it came, the Blowing Bubbles podcast.
I love it. I think that's so creative how everybody's going with the podcast means. Like everybody, there's a podcast for every day. Blowing bubbles, how to do this, how to do that, how to make that. So that's creative. How often do you shoot? How often do you shoot your podcast?
I'm now batch recording, and it's still going to release weekly. I was doing all live every week, and my God, you got to be in the same place every week. I move around a lot.
How does mental health awareness play into the podcast, the Blowing Bubbles movement?
Very much. I try to always talk to people about their mental health, but I have fun with it. I survived a whole lot of things, and I don't want it to be heavy and sad, so I have fun with it. Blowing bubbles is a very light thing. I gave everybody a bottle of bubbles. That's me, blowing bubbles. It's but mental health is a very important piece in what I do. I want to see healthy families. Making sure that families stay whole and healthy is a very big push for me.
Before you got here today, I remember when we spoke and you mentioned that you was doing a Zoom meeting with your business associates, and they heard that you started the Blowing Bubbles podcast, and then they took your idea. Tell us about that, just that fast.
I was on a Zoom with my company, Nationwide Associates, and the lady asked, what do you do when, she asked everybody, what are some of the things that you all do when you're stressed? I said, I blow bubbles. The next month, we had that same team meeting. The executive assistant announced that the company liked my idea, and we now have branded bubbles. I'm like, oh.
The company you used to work for?
Yeah.
Do you still work for them?
I do not.
Oh wow, you left them high and dry.
I do not, yeah. And it was an eye-opener. I said, when a $30 billion company takes action in 3 weeks, that might be a good idea. Mm-hmm. So here we go, blowing bubbles.
So what's some of the things you learned about yourself since the launch of your new platform?
I learned that people love talking to me, and they open up to me like I wouldn't believe it. So I'm very good at open up.
Who's been your most inspirational guest?
My most inspirational was probably a young lady who, she wasn't even an official guest. I just handed her a microphone in the street and started talking to her. Come to find out her daughter had a heart transplant and she was sad because she didn't have any friends. She was 22 years old and this other lady was walking past and she interrupted me talking to this lady and she said, "Your daughter has a friend now. This is my daughter and she had a heart transplant too." And those two ladies connected just because I was standing there talking to the one lady. So that was my most inspirational moment for me.
I love it. I love it. So April 9th, your official book release. Y'all, her book release is on April 9th.
My birthday.
Oh, you're Aries?
I'm in Aries.
My brother's in Aries. We don't get mad. We can't get y'all mad.
Oh yeah, that's another reason I blow bubbles. Because punching people is wrong.
Yeah, punching people is definitely wrong. I would recommend the bubbles. Talk to us about your launch on April 9th.
Yes, so my book is called Residue, How I Grew from Crushed to Crushing It. And it chronicles my life and all of the things that I had to overcome. Last year I did a very deep dive introspectively and looked at what is holding me back from being my highest and best self. And I just went, told the stories from a position of power. I'm not in the wounded, weak victim place. I'm telling the position of power, and I'm just inspiring people by what I went through.
I love it. I love it. And where can everybody follow you at? What's your social media platforms? And where can we catch the Blowing Bubbles podcast?
Blowing Bubbles podcast everywhere. .com, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok is Miss Karana Hosey. My name is a little bit harder to find because KARONNAHOSEY. People forget it, but that's what it is. Blowing Bubbles podcast. You'll find it.
We love it. The CEO and founder of Blowing Bubbles podcast, everybody at Live Creature. Another boss chick to hit the platform. Follow her everywhere. You know where to follow me at Carisha Lever on all platforms. As always, stay fabulous, stay blessed, peace.
Stay poppin'.